Oh. Ah. 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 You ever wonder how I got these scars, Superman? Superman, you ever wonder how I got these scars? I fell down the stairs. And I hit my head. That's how I got these scars. Anyways, how are you, Superman? This is nice, Joker. You ever think about how Joker came out? Good for him. God damn it. I ruined my own fucking joke. I was gonna talk about Joker and the new Joker and how guys want to be Joker and it's disgusting. But then I ruined my own joke by making a Joker's gay joke. Speaking of Joker, hold on. Speaking of Joker, speaking of I can't find an exact clip. Hold on. Yeah, that was about as loud as I thought it would have been. Looking cool, Joker. Hey guys, welcome. Welcome. So Homestuck, huh? What's up with those funny little orange horns, huh? What's the deal with those things? They look like candy corns? Come on. How's everyone doing? They don't even have arms. Homestuck, huh? It's a comic. So the Spotify yearly roundup came out. I don't know if you guys use Spotify or anything, but now you can. Spotify will tabulate your listens and your favorite shit. And yeah, I got my results. It even created a top 100 songs of the year playlist for me. It tabulated all sorts of things. It tabulated my most listened to artist, my most listened to song, fucking my most listened to genre. Like, can we have the same amount of Dunkachino as last time? We'll see. But yeah, my top artists. Well, I can show you. I had to remake and I've listened to like 2 albums. Rip Melly. Mine was not boring. Mine was very, very expected. Let's just say that. Mine was extremely expected with Carly Rae Jepsen at number 1, Pat Benatar, Metallica, Cheap Trick, and The Police, which are all some of my favorite artists. So I listen to all gangs all here, exactly. If I were to wager what number 6 through number 10 are, I would assume. Well, that's the thing. Number 6 through 10 are number 6 is probably Rush. I would imagine. I would imagine Rush just barely got pushed out. I did listen to a lot of Metallica this year. If I hadn't listened to so much Metallica, it probably Rush would have probably made it at number 5. But if I had to guess, 6 through 10 were probably Rush, Tom Petty, Gorillaz, Churches, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Computer Magic or Red Vox maybe. Red Vox might have been on there. But that's what I assume my top 10 would have been because I listened to a lot of all of that. But what is interesting is this playlist that it generated for me, which I think is pretty cool. I can't play any of it for you, but it actually, this is a good fucking playlist. I was scrolling through this. It's some good shit. I was surprised. I was like, and so I even like saved it because I was like, wow, this is like a really good playlist. It's composed of all my top 100 listened to songs of the year, and yeah, it's good. It's a good playlist. I shared it on the Discord if anyone wants to see it. I shared it earlier today. But there's some good songs on there. Some good songs in there. Fucking Time Judged All made it on there from Kamen Rider O's. I want to point out that is my, hold on, 45th most listened to song this year is Time Judged All from Kamen Rider O's. That is the only Kamen Rider song that's on this list. It's fucking good though. But there's some good. Lithium's on here by Nirvana. There's some Tom Petty. There's The Police, Don Henley, Dire Straits, Carly Rae Jepsen, Pink Floyd, The Fix. It's good. It's a good playlist. In fact, I'll even link it in Twitch chat. If anyone wants to get a peek into what does Ryan's life look like, there you go. That's a little taste of my music taste from 2020 specifically. Good beats on there. Even got Goku by fucking Jaden Smith. That's a good song. I've been listening to that a lot. Anyways, yeah, welcome to the stream. I didn't mean to talk about my music tastes for so long. But here we are. It's come to this. And by it's come to this, I mean it's time to do Befriendus again. If you were here yesterday, you know I did Befriendus. Excuse me. I did Befriendus yesterday. But now it's time to do Befriendus again, but this time the green one. You know her. You love her. That's right. It's the mom one, but she's not a mom this time. I think this is the mom one, but not a mom. I think this is the mom one, but still a kid one. Kelp Forest, yes. So let me just get the game loaded up, and we will begin. I'm experiencing an issue where I want to make a pizza, but for some reason, every time I try to turn on my toaster oven to make a pizza, the breaker switches off. The toaster takes up too much energy, and the power in my basement goes off. So I have to flip the switch every time that happens. So yeah, there's some serious. I need to look into getting rewiring. I don't think these wires are graded for kitchen appliances, unfortunately. If I could just rewire one of the outlets and just plug it into that one, that would be great. It just needs thicker wires. But yeah, let's Befriendus. Oh, I know all about Befriendus. Alright, we're not like other fan sims. So we've got the journal entries. But we won't read that until we've finished the next arc, Befriendus. Let's check the warnings real quick. Volume 4 is shorter than Volume 3. Character death, misogyny, and unsanitary themes. Oh, good. 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 Here we are. No, poof, Ralph! You are the only being in the universe who could fuck up a simple stroll around the block. Volume Heart. That's, the Maple Hoof volume. Already played that. Well, maybe it was more than a block. You've been so busy being an enabling angel on your new friend's shoulders that you have yet to find an opportunity to process the world around you, to decompress. You hadn't meant to go that far in the neighboring woods, and you thought you would only get a good mile in before you'd plan to head back. You just figured stretching the shapely gams never hurt, and neither did witnessing the expanse of this planet's surrounding ecosystems. As such, you left Arania's place momentarily to breathe in some good old-fashioned air. It's a good way to clear your head, too. Helping runaway princesses, providing taxing emotional support, homework. Sometimes it's nice to stop and smell the roses. However, luck would have that the tree you leaned on for a moment's rest doesn't seem fond of any close-range sniffing of its brushy limbs. Something prehensile and prickly slithers across your arm like a stake, burning as it pierces through your sleeve, yelping you to dislodge yourself by falling ass first as the hoodie rips, and bolt up to immediately flee. The pricks on your forearm burn as you hurry back whence you came. Did that vine move? Was that a breeze? Now that you think about it, a lot of things seem to move in this forest foliage. Stems pulse, vegetation shudders, and there is not an ounce of wind to justify the low hissing in the air. You hurry past a giant Venus flytrap. It's frightfully silly. You heard that plants could breathe and grass could scream, but it better not start singing at you. The upturned prongs of its mouth and the predatory curl of its leaves are already a lot. At least, you think they were curling? The pain in your arm is accompanied by dizziness in your vision. Fuck, this is concerning. Alien ivy is different enough not to be poisonous, right? Tui, yeah, exactly. Actually, you could say the same for any ivy. That was literally a Little Shop of Horrors joke. Venom and poison are not the same thing, duh. Morning! The state of wonder your mind is tossed into is dizzying. Or maybe you're just flat out fucking dizzy. This may be another golden opportunity to choose whether or not you end up dying like a loser out here. It would take too long to keep going, judging by the dull throb in your arm and how you are starting to feel sluggish. Your legs, despite being sturdy as hell to get you here, feel like they're sinking in mud. Curiosity always seems to be your largest liability. Good morning. Alright, guys. Instant death. What am I going with here? I think I know what the instant death is. I'm gonna assume extract the venom is gonna get me killed. I'm gonna try. Teleport back for help. You maybe teleport back for help at instant death. With your woozy concentration, you focus as hard as you can and close your eyes, choosing to teleport back. Or at least you hoped. Well, I guess this isn't instant death. Instead of the familiarity of asphalt, you're standing in grass, having succeeded in space hopping deeper into the forest bowels. Okay, trying to use your powers with toxins swimming through you was probably the worst decision. In fact, it's only made you more nauseated. As you slouch down, the bed of grass only tempts you to close your eyes as the energy further depletes from your veins. Fuck, this isn't good. You concentrate on your own breathing, sparkling black dancing at the corners of your vision. Damn it. Maybe you should have just waited for Arania's return back at the hive. There she is. As you feel yourself losing consciousness, you notice you think a figure that you hadn't seen before growing nearer. The moonlit sky above blankets it with a dark silhouette, but you can only stare as it approaches, the nocturnal glint of eyes stilling your blood further. Hell, are you seriously about to get eaten by some kind of a foreign cryptid in the midst of poisoning? That's embarrassing. You don't have time to let out more than a pitiful groan of fear before your body sulks. Everything goes black. When you wake up, you're not dead. You know the feeling well by this point. Though you aren't greeted by a ceiling of trees, you're seeing stars in the most literal sense above you. Fuck. Did you fall into some kind of spatial purgatory again? No. Space is usually a floating emptiness and not a hard ground against your back. You spot a patch of light and hear a tapping that tells you your hunch is wrong. Turning your head, you have two reactions. At first, you assume that whatever creature found you before you passed out had dragged you in here to save your death's dignity in the form of a feast. A pity platter. The second reaction is realization, when you recognize the shape of troll horns, a bipedal hunch, and tapping that resembles frantic typing. Huh? What? Or rather, who actually? You lean up quietly, not wanting to draw attention to yourself just yet, but the jelly in your arms causes you to fall back with an obnoxious thump and yelp against the dirt. Damn, you hope that didn't startle them. The Jadebud jumps and swerves to face you, startled. If trolls had retractable claws, hers would be unsheathed, but her expression falters among discovering it was just the whelp that she had dragged in earlier. The reaction was more skittish than aggressive, you notice, and she quickly shields herself with a stoic aura, clearing her throat. Ah, hello, you. You're finally awake. Not to coddle, but are you alright? Who is she? Who are you? The suspicion in her voice could cut through glass, and you quickly tell her your name, a little dumbfounded by the whiplash as she nods. Our name? Thanks. My name is Porrim. This track, though. I half expect fucking Sung to come in and just be like, oh yeah, we're hanging out in Befriendus. I personally don't know you, so getting your identity first makes us a little more balanced. Also, teleporting in front of my spot and promptly passing out didn't help with the ambiguity. Though, I only dragged you in so you wouldn't stir up any unwanted attention with me nearby, and not because it was a sorry sight, no. Arania did tell me you're cool, so I guess I have nothing to worry about. She can be right to an extent, sometimes. Oh, she knows Arania? Poor motions to the palm husk in her hand as if reading your thoughts. You're not from here. That is to say, not from this world. My concern is focused elsewhere, as someone who actually inhabits this planet and its problems, though I do pity your situation and the struggle that comes with being an outsider. Consider this a short stop while I have the free time, or at least until that venom stops attacking your bloodstream. Oh yeah, you did get a pretty bite, didn't you? You happen to notice your hoodie gone, a length of gauze over your arm, and a medicine kit nearby. The limb is tendered, but the tinkling feels a tad different, as if something has been added on, or in. Did she help you? Wait, of course she did. You didn't just happen to bandage yourself unconscious, though that would have been awesome survival ability. You give Porrim a hearty thanks. She didn't have to do all that, but it was very nice of her. Her eyes widen for a second at the gratitude before she turns to face the cavern entrance. Don't think too much into it. I'm not a beast. I'm only doing what I know, or what I was taught. Of my own accord. She clears her throat. I happen to have supplies on me for medical emergencies, so I put my skills to use. It was of my own autonomy. I do what I want. That is what I'm saying. Okay. You give her a bit of a look, but don't question her about it. Instead choosing to ask about the elephant in the room, or rather, the jade in the cave. Is Nox still here? Nox, you hear this twerp beep? It's real fucking good. Anything with like fucking bass and like keyboard, it's like, Tupperware remix party, of course. And give her a bit of a look, but don't question her about it, instead of choosing to ask about the elephant in the room, or rather the jade in the cave. What an interesting setup. You're sure the rent is dirt cheap, but why is she living it up in here? It's not even cavernous cave like the ones that jades usually live in. It looks more like she's getting ready for hibernation, or trying to live like electricity isn't a short trail away. this is a temporary setup. I'm traveling away. While I would love to have a more luxurious stay, I can't exactly be finicky about my pit stops, even if they are literal pits. Traveling? Like on a trip? Or not? She's scrunching her nose at your poor answer. Okay. You've perhaps not been here for too long, but I'd at least assume that you're acquainted with caste norms and the things we're usually involved in. Oh, yeah. Jades take care of other trolls, right? The smaller ones that have multiple legs in a horrifyingly cute way. And they get to metamorph into in a sticky cave with big animals to take care of them after going through some kind of life or death trials. Okay, you're losing her. That first half is passable. We do take care of grubs and wigglers before they're sent on their way. That is our current mandated agenda in life. Oh yeah, you knew that too. Jades are really cut for the hard work and duties they achieve. Oh, wait. She's staring at you extra hard now. Is your face paling again, or are you just bad with assumptions? I don't think you do know. Your thoughts seem to have come from a textbook. What you think I'm cut out for is simply tailored by crooked hands. Well, you appreciate the wordplay, but you don't think you follow. Getting the obvious isn't really your style, though you're slowly putting two and two together. Alternia and Befriendus play different rules. Play by different rules. Less murder, more hugs, or like passive-aggressive hand-holding. However, this isn't the first time, nor even the third time that you've encountered a Jade outside of the caverns for a sneaky reason. Parties, conventions, bars. It usually hasn't been allowed casually. Those at least were fun, but Porrim seems a little worn. You notice the bags around the dense floor, and how many seem to be for more than simple camping trip. Time for another one of your famous hunches. Is she going away from the caverns? In, like, a running sense? Bingo. The light bulb in your head finally flickers. I do admit, you make it tantalizing to spill my guts to someone I just met. Then again, you don't know me, and you seem harmless and not at all intimidating. So it's not like I have much to socially defend, provided you don't snitch to someone else about this. Or we will both have our respective guts spilled. Oh, yeah! You're totally trusty, you mean it. Frankly, you'd rather your guts stay in, even if this child didn't frighten you this much. You're also a bit curious about the alternate reality of a caste you haven't even asked many questions about before. It's weird, by the way, playing this and playing Distant Quest and seeing her like this, which is like before Homestuck Porrim, and then there's like dead Homestuck Porrim, and then there's like fucking, you know, Distant Quest Porrim, which is fucking ancient Beforeign, yada yada yada. I don't know, man. Homestuck, man. Homestuck, man. Mandalorian, but he's a Lucis, and Green Yoda is a grub. Ralph, that might be the most genius thing I've ever heard in my entire life. That is very good. Oh, yeah, you're totally trusty. You mean it. Frankly, you'd rather your guts stay in, even if this child didn't frighten you this much. You're also a bit curious about the alternate reality of a caste you haven't asked many questions about before. For someone eyeing you with constant suspicion, she sure is comfortable with the opportunity to go off. Though, it seems that she has plenty to say, plenty to hide if this location is anything to go by, and enough frustrations threatening to boil up. You aren't a therapist friend, or even a regular friend yet, but perhaps your marshmallowy contour is inviting enough when it comes to venting to a stranger. Porrim stares at you for a moment more, probably to make sure she isn't about to chatter at a wall instead. Well, if you're lending your ear, I suppose I may spoil myself with an audience. Okay, alternatively, the Mandalorian is kind of an exile, right? He's not a normal Mandalorian. He is trying to get the child back to his home. Wouldn't you say that that's kind of an odd role for a Mandalorian? So, may I posit maybe Troll Mando? A troll in a role that he is not equipped for. Trying to find this baby's home. This grub's home. Troll Mando. And Grub child. And you could have little holes in his fucking helmet, and the horns go through them. I don't know, man. This sounds really good. Well, if you're lending your ear, I suppose I may spoil myself with an audience. Oops. Skipped it. Humming a pleased hum, she falters while gathering words like a graduate's pregnant pause on a podium. I warn you that I'm only sharing a fraction of what deserves to be told, and there's a lot to say, though you did ask me. Just speak up if I go a bit fast. She exhales, and you lean in to show your fullest attention as she recites what sounds like something she's practiced for. Her hands busy themselves with your hoodie and a sewing kit from one of the unpacked bags. Jades are a cluster of rich, beautiful emeralds that guide before in society. Without them, we would lose the most important hands that lead our young ones through the beginning of life and continue the cycles of our existence. Oh, I get the misogyny warning now. This is like, you're a girl, you have to be a mom. You're a Jade, you have to be a mom. Our lovely caretakers of the mother grub and troll kind. Her needle symphonies the air, as if she were mimicking a voice that she did not care to remember seriously, before one hand rests on her forehead. You know what would be the ultimate fucking... The fucking ultimate brain blast? That's not even the right word. Mindfuck. Well, you know what would be the ultimate mindfuck? If Befriendus is getting towards the last volume, and Distant Quest is getting towards the last volume, and they fucking suddenly merge. If Befriendus and Distant Quest were to, like, suddenly merge, that would be fucking wild. Brain blast. I know, I don't know why I said that. On paper, that'd make anyone feel charmed, but one knows that those who gawk at jewels only see them as one thing at the end of the night. Accessories that benefit those who own them. Shiny objects and their usages, complementing the power and ego of wealthy thrones. God damn it, Ralph. The sarcasm that reaches the end of her sentence bubbles up like bile on her disgusted face. Porrim clears her throat before she continues. Perhaps I should stop being so poetic about it. The trite thing I quoted, notice how we don't truly stand out aside from how our helping hands are able to benefit the reproduction and preparation of those who tell us how to live our lives? CIPs take advantage of what we're able to do for them, and what with our caste connection to the mother grub. Oh, you're new. That's cerulean indigo and purple. Look at these fucking sprites. The only reason we aren't lower on the spectrum is because they need us to believe we're all well off enough with this kind of equal trade. She smiles tight and angry. You notice how tense the atmosphere is as she gets into what seems like a bad time. This is like... She's got, like, Vriska vibes. This isn't like a Jade vibe. This is like a Vriska vibe. If you changed your jacket to blue, I'd believe it. It's quite revolting, really. It's revolting! They see our cast and think, huh, they sure are connected to the ones who keep our system continuously flowing. Let's tell them this so they can keep breeding a ratio of trolls that will continue to keep up our hierarchy, and that their similarities to the Empress means there's no power play. The Empress, a woman of fine royalty, is the ruler. The mother grub, a female cavern dweller, keeps our species going. Surely these castes of women have no reason to act if they're somehow getting the short end of the stick when they're all so respected. And as the caste primarily of men who dominate societal law, let's tell others what they want to hear. Their authoritative capabilities are an equal trade in exchange for what we're doing, for doing what we She hisses softly, jerking her finger up as she waves at some... Oh shit, she was really going at it. Is she okay? I'm fine, sorry. Perhaps when I get into one of my rants, I shouldn't be playing with sharp things so casually, or sound like I'm prepping for an angry think piece on Chitter. I sound like Cankry. He'd be so smug after accusing me of plagiarism. But yes, it's all faulty. Rancid garbage. She clears her throat again, this time trying to search for words that don't fluster her. You wonder if she's actually talked to someone so thoroughly about these thoughts, or if she's practicing on someone who's willing to listen. For one, some of us don't associate our identity with the mother grub. It's incredibly detrollizing and detrollizing. It debunks the entire idea that we all benefit because women run the planet, though they tend to dismiss us in multiple ways. Failed step 1. Second, if we had any say in our lives, I wouldn't be here. I tried to change things from the inside, to speak on things that only so many of us dare to think. Perhaps we can educate wigglers in a supportive way, instead of teaching them that society isn't going to wait up while consistently dragging their hand, I said. Perhaps Jades could still live on their own lives, and they aren't mandated to always stay in their caves to benefit the overrule. Maybe, just maybe, a Jade's purpose isn't to live and create for others, but to live for themselves. That our connection to the mother grub belongs to us and no one else. I was then accused of thinking our entire species should be neglected and thus destroyed, or that I was trying to send wigglers a bad message for tampering with the importance of jade blood instead of being a good little hive minder. Oof, this is real shit. So ironically, instead of letting me in closer to my own caste, they shooed me away until I came to my senses. She makes eye contact with you. So I ran the fuck away instead. You glance at the ground between the both of you, and you can tell Porrim copies you to avoid staring, lost in thought. You're certainly going with the former for yourself, though you are taking her words with seriousness. What a terrible situation. You knew that something was a bit off about the caverns from the few times you scuttled in, but it was different hearing it from a Jade who wasn't against dissecting its societal flaws like a universal frog. Then again, that was Alternia, not before us. You try not to venture too far in the thought of Porrim's opinions would fare with someone like Bronya, or how they'd potentially intersect with the rebellious nature of Daria and Lonk. Porrim's expression is suddenly awkward, her words faltering subtly. I apologize for rambling. After waking up in a tizzy, you're not exactly looking to tend to another panache. There's hesitation, but this time she looks more unsure of herself than you, as if talking off the cuff about the oppression of a systematic mothering to her medical patient wasn't as productive as it was ironic. Well, you aren't opposed to listening, even if you are comprehending her words without having much power to do anything yourself. She looks like she has more to say anyway. Of what though? You sit up a little straighter, so she knows you're at full attention, ignoring how your arm screams for mercy. Huh. I'm actually a bit of a hypocrite, you know? What? I lied about why I dragged you in here. Well, yes, you could absolutely get me caught. I could have just kept moving, but I would have felt awful about leaving you there. You were hurt and exposed to the elements. If you didn't die from injury, a drone would have found you. Sometimes a fate worse than death. I figured I would have entertained the idea of someone helping me if the roles were switched. I suppose that's a fault of mine? I can never tell whether I'm acting on my own accord or if it's something embedded in my pan since I've only been taught to care. Like, I don't mind helping others in a way that works, but I don't even know if it works. If it's actually me personally saying that, I almost feel like I'm against myself for helping you. No offense. Oh, absolutely not. You're not just saying that because you can actually tell up from down now. There's no reason to feel bad for having some basic empathy for someone, even if you don't know them. If the roles had been indeed switched, you would have absolutely been more than happy to help her. Plus, you're absolutely stoked that you didn't end up decomposing off camera. Porrim gives a bit of a snort, so you take that as a small win. On the inside, you're trying not to think too hard about how fucked troll planets are, and their habit of leaving all these kids to grow up before they're even lived. You can't imagine however much doubt Porrim has been wrestling with, but you continue to try and reassure her. Caring versus coddling has left a clusterfuck of gray areas, but if she's willing to think more about this kind of stuff than her squad, there has to be some nuance there. You think that an idea like hers can have multiple faucets. Facets, actually. Well, it's assuring that I'm possibly not talking out of my ass. That a pusher isn't a burden. I just wish things were different. With everything, actually. The world would be way better if it could understand that I don't want to help others because it's my job. I do it because I choose to. A duty is different from a labor of love. You wish you had the ability to help. In the very least, you could relate to living on a planet that decorates itself like a utopia. At least Porrim seems to have a plan. Now that you think about it, you wonder what exactly that plan is. Oh, yeah. It's pretty simple. I stay in hiding at a friend's place while I figure out how to spread awareness. I don't do a lot of blogging, but I heard it's a great platform for reaching many eyes across the planet. Plus, a little uproar on Befriendus' streets isn't that much of a stretch. Instead of echoing in the caves, I could raise awareness to the Empress directly about how our legislators keep abusing their powers. It's always worth a try. Clever plotting in the right time of day, or night. Time. Day. Night. Wait. What time is it? How long were you passed out for? Porrim blinks, looking a little surprised by the sudden question. Oh, some hours. You're pretty out of it since I found you early in the night. It's probably close to dawn. Oh, damn. You had no idea you were loitering for that long. She really was generous for taking time out of her schedule to nurse you back to something manageable. As much as it's been helpful, though, for either of you, it clearly has been eating up a lot of Porrim's time. She did seem like she was okay with it to a degree, and your bruised arm and heavy skull want to agree. After you leave, you aren't entirely sure how long it'll be till she meets up with one of her pals. But she also seems prepared for, well, a lot. Taking care of you puts a pause on things. It's also risky. If she's out on the run, then how long can you stay in one area? The last thing you want to do is have her discovered because you're taking advantage of her charity. Is everything alright? Was the blog idea a little too much? Oh. Looks like she's expecting you to say something instead of staring in her general direction like a beady owl. Alright, guys. Stay until night, leave in the morning. What do you guys think? I'm just gonna vibe to this music. Death. Night, death. Okay. Death morning. Death. God damn it. We will dissolve. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know what's... Because staying until night is, like... wasting more time. But it's night. Leave in the morning, the sun's coming up, and that's deadly. So I don't know what the wrong... Stay. Melodious Thunder says stay. I'm gonna stay. The last time you overestimated yourself taught you a lesson. It'd be smart to play it safe this time around. Plus, it comes with the bonus of giving Porrim some company before she departs. Maybe after a bit of a nap, though. It's still waking hours, but it'll probably do your best to keep sleeping off whatever remains of your illness. Even if her help did make you feel a little better. Her shoulders untense. Agreed. It's ultimately up to you, though. Though I'm glad you're making the wiser choice. The daytime isn't kind to any. Well, except me. It's not a slight so much as a humorous fact, and she smiles warmly. I'll keep a lookout for a little while before resting, too. Sneaking around while everyone else is usually asleep has its toll. I may consider this one of my cheat days. I also love Porrim. You give her a thumbs up, fluffing up the pillow provided to you before you lay on it. Porrim goes back to practicing on her sewing patch, while you begin to get some shut-eye. Content next to the fire, relaxed. You take it that you are both in a better place than when you started. Recovery makes you a heavy sleeper, and you assume Porrim is too when you're given the chance to actually sleep normally. You at least trust the fact that when you aren't stirred when something... You at least trust that fact when you aren't stirred when something similar to thuds overhead tickles your semi-conscious ears. You feel the thumps, but they're above and beyond, like a distant bird. It's nothing to fret over. By the time you finally stir, momentarily, the noise is gone. Huh. Brushing off the slight alarm, you hit the metaphorical snooze button and drift again. You wake up on your back, blinking blearily. This time when you rise up, there's strength in your limbs and a tamed blood rush. You're actually able to stretch and give proper yawn as you glance over to Porrim. She's making herself busy by gliding a needle through the seams of your hoodie. Oh, good dusk. Did you have a kind slumber? You beam. Hell yeah, you did. You feel reborn and not dying, which is a step in the right direction. She chuckles faintly, only pausing when you glance back at her handiwork, slightly flustered as she picked at the needle in her hand. Yeah, I hope you don't mind. Though I should have asked before meddling with your things. The fabric was a little more ruined and I happen to have black wool on me. Could I have closed up the tears rather than replace the entire sleeve? Absolutely not. Peak of life is not dying, absolutely. It's been ages since I've had the opportunity to practice. Oh yeah, it's fine. You'd have to be dense to feel like it was a bigger bother than whatever dirt and mothballs are on it. I'd rather not sew with thorns on my lap, thanks. Sweet. Porrim gestures at the food plate and cup next to you. She probably gathered the fruit slices and muscle beef jerky before you woke up. You lick your lips. Water has never looked tastier. It's not much, but I figured that you'll eventually find your own things once you're out of here. I'm not going full survival mode, but my own rations will only last as long as I feel like not sneaking into town for a good burger. I'll refrain from looting the overcompensating Violet caterers. A reasonable enough choice. You do notice that Porrim shifts eye contact with you upon mentioning your eventual departure. You suppose it's bittersweet that she'll be alone in here again, outside of the contacts on her husk. I'll try not to take too long on this. As you eat your breakfast for dinner, she picks at her tools again in thought. And that gets you thinking, too. You don't want to part as strangers, even with small talk prior. Though considering everything, you don't have to keep it small. Yes, you do need to leave tonight, but that doesn't mean right away, yeah? Porrim seems like she had a good head on her shoulders, and depending on how long her journey goes for, it may be a while before she finds someone else to open up to in conversation like this. Or at least conversations that feel like she's talking with someone versus being talked at. Swallowing some meat, you pause before shifting where you sit, and let out a gasp, catching her attention. What is it? Oh, ouchie ouch. Damn, you still feel stupidly sore. Maybe your bones are still waking up? Oh, darn it all. It seems like you still need a few more hours before you can get up and start bumbling into more carnivorous leaves. Your dramatic performance leaves Porrim blinking owlishly. Then her expression softens and she hums faintly, almost as if she wanted to laugh. Yes, Are you serious? I suppose your recovery will need a bit more time before we're sure you can walk properly. Your new and very much real injuries seem severe. It's no burden on me. Though, if you're going to have some extended time here, then you must let me in on knowing why your species is so physically unequipped. She is. I love her. Her lips are a vague smile as she lays down her needle, and you pat yourself on the back for your efficient performance, mentally, so you're not too weird about it. As you turn back to her with self-admiration, a wet rag smacks you in the face. Although you are cleaning the plates, I'm not sure if you've ever traveled with dirty nutrition wear in your backpack, but I haven't, and I don't intend to start. Make sure not to leave any specks. That's fair. Tender or not, your arm wasn't exactly out of commission. You hastily grab some of the extra containers of water nearby and get to scrubbing. It seems like you're going to be here for a bit longer, so in the meantime, a little small talk wouldn't hurt. What is this? God damn it. Hold on. That's a lot of choices. Give me a second. How'd you score this cave? It's actually a den. I stole it from a grizzle beast. Holy shit. Well, you knew at this point that trolls were capable of power strides. But that must have been a lot of fluff and claws to wrestle. Death. Ask her about the Delta rune. Why do you call them fuzzy buns? Huh? Oh no, I didn't hurt the thing. Jades are usually taught how to corral Luci when they have tantrums in the caverns. It was nothing, really. I just gave her a fish from a stream in trade. You stare at Porrim, who continues to sew as if pacifying an entire bear was any less badass. Hey, cool tattoos. Small talk, small talk. Ah, her tattoos. Not to be weird, but you noticed that they existed when she had previously checked your gauze, just below her collarbone. It's Cassie. Porrim is just Cassie, if you think about it. You're surprised something that, with the way she's talked about her duties, such an occupation would allow body paint on the job. Thanks. They're simple, but admittedly, one of my more shameless acts of defiance. Shamelessly stylish, that is. I plan to get more. Porrim really is just Cassie, if you think about it. Fair, fair. You can only assume that the meaning behind them is something simple enough as starting point, since you admittedly couldn't quite put a finger on what they represent. Actually, they're based on a curved ruler, the one said to have originated on one of Befriendus' old islands. According to things I've read, they represent equity and fairness, obviously things that I stand for. Just as the tool fits itself against an object, the ruler shapes itself coolly in a way that gives feature measurement from adjusting itself. Plus, I didn't feel like permanently marking my body with something impulsively thought out, like a gaudy expression. The meaning is really deep. So she got a tattoo of a measuring tape? Of a message, thank you very much. What do you want to do in the future? Well, she briefly glances down at her handiwork, checking the seams as she mutters. Fashion, probably. I like it enough. It's a good starting point. Obviously, like most things, I got the skill to sew in the caverns. But one time I went to one of the cavern libraries and found a book on things to thread, like dresses and tops. I mean, how is this hiding under my nose the whole time? Do you know how much silk we have lying around that could have been made into prettiest ball block gown? A lot. That's the correct answer. Again, it's just a dream, but hey, maybe that'll be a bit of a pet project during my traveling. Oh, that'd be an idea. Though that'd certainly be a lot to carry. True. And they'd be a trail if I left. True, and they'd be a trail if I left them. Luckily, your hoodie seems to be a good test drive. Just count yourself lucky I didn't turn it into a fashionable crop top. Though, you don't wear pants, so never mind, X2 on that. Porrim and you spent a few hours loitering and talking. By the end of it, she's found an excuse to remake both of your sleeves, just so the fabrics don't contrast too much, and she flat out replaces the mothball she failed to get. Oh shit, I didn't get to ask the other questions. I'll have to go back. As much as you would love to find more excuses to hang out, it's probably the best for you to get on your way, and so Porrim is able to figure out which paths to take, metaphorical or otherwise. I'm gonna save this. And I'm gonna load this one. How did you run away? This whole time we haven't been wearing pants. That might be true. Come to think of it, I don't think MSPA wears pants. I snuck out. Or well, I use the advantage of being constantly outside. Most Jades stay in the caverns, though a few of us get the privilege of getting resources from the outside. By privilege, I'm referring to those of us who they didn't really think were as adequate to take care of the grubs and wigglers. They didn't say that, but we knew. After they decided I was a menace, Squidward style. Donald Duck. After they decided I was a menace, they gave me that duty. I did it for a while, though mostly so I could scope the area before going out one day and not coming back. I was reasonably seen as doing my duties all day, and for them, me being out of sight and out of mind was more of a blessing than a concern. Going the night after undetected was no issue. We're terrible at staying awake when others are. I made sure my earlier trips to take things one by one so no one noticed anything, which is how I got a good handful here. She gestures at the supplies leaned against the wall. Once I start going a bit further, there's no going back. So she's not staying in here. Actually, wait, yeah, rhetorically stupid question. Of course she's not going to loiter in a dusty den. It doesn't seem her style. nor even the style of most trolls on the planet that seemed a little more advanced than you often gave it credit for. They have buildings inside caves, for Pete's sake. I don't know who Pete is, but it's only been a few nights. This is temporary shelter at best. For one more night, since it's a deep enough home for Luci by definition, not trolls. Well, at least she has a plan. And hey, if for whatever reason she had to turn tail and head back, she could say that she very much got ambushed by a bear, or got stung by a venomous plant. If I have to be honest, I'd rather they find me than look like I just died on a nature trail. No offense. Hey, nearly going out flower style isn't something you would want people to know either. Porrim and you take a quick moment to swear secrecy to your blunder, even if you think Arania is already in on the joke, that being you. Is that a chainsaw? She smirks a little, as if proud. Which she most definitely is as she sits up a bit straighter, jabbing her thumb in its direction. It is. They really sucked at informing traveling jades about the undead that limp around, probably and on purpose. Naturally, I needed some self-defense, though they don't come easy to find. Not that I'm not capable alone, but you never know what things they're carrying. You never know what those things are carrying. A little black marketing here, a little there, details. Yeesh. You're lucky you didn't run into any of those then. The idea of Befriendus having zombies of their own surprises you. But then again, it's not like the layout is much different, societal bigotry aside. Yeah, there's not much to do about them, but alas. Perhaps exterminating them, though I'm sure they'd want us to see how redeemable parasitic corpses are before we think about not doing that. You nod, wondering to yourself if a zombie would have taken you out quicker than the plant. Or if they would have taken each other out. Plants versus zombies. I almost made that joke, and then I looked down and saw Plants versus Zombies, and I was like, motherfucker. God damn it. Let me see this. Here we go. Standing up, you wobble for a second before going still. With the lack of dizziness, you beam. Hell yeah, you feel way better than you did when you were dying. I'm glad to see the recovery went pretty well. Just look before you leap next time, okay? Yes, ma'am. You give a nod as she hands you back your hoodie. She did a fine job making those sleeves shine. As you slip the thing back on, your arms instinctively go into your pockets, where you feel something crinkle against your palm. Your confusion is answered as to reach and take out a piece of paper that reads out a handle? Porrim's handle specifically as you glance at her, the troll shrugging. I can't turn my signal on for the moment. Never know when a drone may sync to it. Make sure that you give Arania a verbal hello for me. And well, you know, don't be a stranger. It can be an emergency contact. Or a casual one. It may be a hot second before we see each other again, but it'll all depend. I don't always like relying on others, but if I have to couch hop with some friends, I will. That may include you if we meet up anytime soon enough. It takes you a moment to pick up what Porrim is dropping, and you give her a parted look before melting into a grin, the girl returning it. This friendship felt especially fulfilling to finally achieve, and the best part was that you felt Porrim had achieved one of her own. Wherever her shoes take her, it was certain that she knew what she was needed to do with her life, and what she was going to try achieving on her own terms. The ability to care on this planet's way of twisting it were beyond each other's comprehension, but you knew which came out on top, both of you did, and for certain you'd let Porrim know that friendship and empathy was a two-way street. You'll let her know the next time you pop back in as proof. Good. It was good. Literally, it was the good ending, which means we have to suffer through the bad ending, guys. Are you happy? Of course you're not. Of course you're not happy. You're never fucking happy. Alright, let's backtrack a bit. What is this, Ralph? Hold on. There he is! There he is! There he is! So for anyone who wasn't here, we were contemplating Troll Mandalorian having to take care of Grub Child. and Grub Baby Yoda. And that is a thought that came into mind. Originally, it was Lucis Mando, but then we realized that, or I realized that Mando isn't really. He's kind of out of his element, like a troll would be, if it had to take care of a grub. All right, let's backtrack. And time to die. Extract the venom. You saw this in a movie once. Before us is just another Wild West of misadventures and dealing with the elements. If you want to avoid getting owned, you have to think fast and draw, crouching over yourself. It's an oral harmony of slurping and spitting as you attempt to suck out the poison. Wait, venom? Hell, it really doesn't matter. It's not like the thing had teeth. And as the saying goes, if you touch it, it's poisonous. If it touches you, venomous ivy? Dolorosa and Baby Signless. I guess it is kind of... Oh my god. Oh my god. The man Dolorosa and Baby... The man Dolorosa and Baby Signless. The tree hugger becomes the tree huggy in a forest, and no one is around to witness such a toxic exchange. Did it bite you? Damn, that's mind-boggling. Your mind is officially boggled. Wait, you have some better bastardized quotes. I always fuck that up. The burn means it's working. Success has never tasted sweeter. Though, that could just be you. And we're dead. Hold on. I missed the achievement. Was that a snake on a... Was that snakes on a plane? Hold on. Is there a way to look up achievements? There are no motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Yeah! It was a snakes on a plane joke. I am sick and tired of these motherfucking snakes. Hold on, guys. There it is.
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
Samuel L. Jackson in Snakes on a Plane. Iconic line. All right. Let's see what we got here. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Let me double check something. 3. No, we're good. All right. Leave in the morning. There's no need to burden her with your presence. Clearly, she has some things to work out, and you're merely using up her time. You tell Porrim that leaving by the morning seems to be in your best interest. Her brow furrows. Ah. The look she gives you is despondent, which you hadn't expected, until you realize your faulty timing. I know the idea of a mob was intimidating, though I didn't expect the idea alone was going to scare you off. Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry guys. Oh, damn it, right. She's just spilled her guts to you about all this condensed drama trauma, and your first response was to say you're going to dip upon actual action? Will you never realize how much of a jackass you can come across as? Hold on, I have a... What is this? I have some sort of DM. Okay, there we go. Just checking. You fumble a bit trying to find words to clear the air and blame your horrible habit of inner monologues, but she talks faster. No, it's fine. I'm sure with how much you were faring before that you'll make it without a hitch in the before and heat. What a carefully constructed plan. You stare at her, trying to figure out if she's being serious or not. This is too Sadachino. Porrim seems to note the confusion and gives you a tired scowl. You do know what sarcasm is, correct? Ah, she's cross with you, huffing through her nose before she lifts herself up, her face between annoyed and crestfallen, weary. I'm going to search for a few more supplies for night, so I may head out by tomorrow. I'll make sure I'm no hindrance on your time after that point. As she walks away, she pauses before you can speak out, try and settle the miscommunication. Your hand outstretched before she glances down at the rocks with uncertainty. I'm regretful if I come off as overbearing this dusk. Sleep well. She passes by what seems to be your hoodie, folded neatly from before you had woken up, though the tears from your previous assault are stark and ugly. You sigh as you reach for it and get dressed back into the worn thing. Seems like you totally botched a close moment. Morning peeks through the curtain of the blue-stemmed grass guarding the cave mouth. In the belly of Porrim's hideout, you two have been awake for a good hour, the Jade's things packed before you were conscious. She's currently finishing up whatever assorted breakfast bar she had stored in her bag, staring at the campfire between her and you. It's dying, a tail of smoke and specks of heat of a phoenix flame that could have arisen anew if prompted. You stare at it too, occasionally glancing around the cave as you slip into your hoodie again. The holes in the fabric cause a bit of draft as the silence thickens like molasses around the two of you. Hey. Thanks for hearing me out before. I don't really go off like that often. If my drawn-out sentences didn't give that away. I know that my views may come off as daft to those who don't know me, but you at least heard me through. That's more than I've been granted in all my sweeps. If you ever feel like it, don't be coy when it comes to talking off my hearing duct just as much. Oh, okay, you relax a little and give her a confident salute. That you can do. You love yapping it up, even if it's just to fill for time. You're glad that Porrim doesn't look mad at you anymore, though she still wears a bittersweet expression. Tired and probably ready to move on from what is basically a home for moles. She acknowledges your response with another nod, before clearing her throat, the anxiety momentarily diminished as she speaks unabashedly. Are you able to stand? Walk even? Probably not, but you could try. You do, and miraculously, you don't fall back and crack your head open, even as the blood rush prompts you to lean on a wall for support. Are you good? Your hoodie is torn up. Are you good, is what I meant to say. Your hoodie is torn up, poisoned body patched up by a 6-sweep-old. You're blinking away spots. With a stomach that feels like it could lose itself if you flex too fast, you give her a thumbs up. She doesn't seem convinced in the slightest, but she gives a few flat sounds of laughter. Right. Well, you do know yourself more than I do. Hopefully the odd powers you have aligned themselves. Hopefully the odd powers you have align themselves. Well, only one way to find out. Stepping back, you take a deep breath. Porrim raising her eyebrows, you close your eyes. Okay, it's probably not the best to overdo it. You learnt your lesson, and this time you try to stay rather close, just to see if your accuracy is working better than your vigor. Ah, fuck. False alarm, false alarm. I forgot how bright the goddamn sun is. Oh, that's a typo. How stupid it is just to pop into... hold on, I got thrown off by that. Forget how bright the goddamn sun is, how stupid it is to just pop into light without adjustment from the dark, and how hot! Scrambling against the wall for the den's entrance, you cling to a spot of shade a few yards away from where you appeared, blinking and squinting. Okay, yeah. You were meant to basically teleport to this general area anyway. As long as you don't end up zapping yourself off a cliff like a malnourished coyote, you should be fine. Burntachino. You sigh, glancing up at the sky from your shade. Trees sway habitually. A drone scans the area and flaps beast crow overhead. Time to inform Porrim about your lucky situation. It'll probably do wonders when it comes to finding a path once more and avoiding hazard... Drone. Wait. Your heart turns to ice as the thing stalks mere trees ahead. Its head turning to scan over the trees and shrubbery. Oh fuck, Never mind. You stay as still as you can, trying not to make a sound. Eventually, you start to walk backward, not breathing, heart pounding. Expertly, you avoid stepping on a branch and try to keep from alerting the drone. The whirring of danger clogs your senses so much that you startle when Porrim walks up from behind you. Hey, Shh. Oh, fuck. Porrim looks confused as hell before she peers over you, matching your expression with her own look of alarm as the drone swivels its waist to look back in your direction, officially fucking you over. Halt. The artificial sentry thumps closer as you two scramble back. As it inspects the beings that have just made its cop duties an easy day, you take notice that its attention is sharply drawn toward Porrim. She flinches as a light sparks from the drone's eye. It casts over her with an LED that scours her solid presence, before the light vanishes as the metallic cop gives a status update. Scan complete. Residential before undetected. Identification. Porrim Merriam. Syncing identification with assigned missing person. Identification is a match. Desyncing Azerfang device from electronic tracking. New mission. Contain and subdue target and proximized hazards. The horde giant outstretches its arms with an air of guidance that makes Porrim crouch back a bit with a bit of a hiss. Please stay calm. Come quietly and carefully so we may guide you back to your designated cavern, Miss Merriam. You are fucking kidding me. How could it track me if I turned off my husk after figuring out what to do with you? Note to self. Read circuit length responses offline. There is no need for alarm. Your safety and well-being is currently within the hands of the law. Before this is weird, because, like, Alternio, they're just like, fucking kill. Just fucking kill. And before us, they're like, they're still kind of assholes to trolls, but less? It's weird. There's no need for alarm. It suddenly swipes at her like a cat. Porrim reacts with a swift dodge as the iron giant grasps for air, unfortunately distancing her from you before you had the chance to consider using the energy you could to teleport. This is bad. This tin can is trying to take Porrim back. Well, this is what it's like under Befriendus rule, I guess. Which I guess makes sense. Judging by what she told you, you can't assume that the crime of being a runaway jade would be without whatever consequence was in store. Chittering in her thorax, Porrim pulls out what looks like a container of lipstick? Is she gonna decorate her features as a final hurrah of freedom? Damn it, come on, you stupid... Come on! It seems as if she's having trouble, though, attempting to twist the lipstick as if she's never used it more than once. While that drone approaches her, she already has the cap off. Are you missing something? Damn it, you don't have time to contemplate. You have to do something. Teleporting over to Porrim is risky as hell. You might as well throw out your back trying to teleport the hefty drone somewhere else. What if you teleport away and can't make it back? Is your only option to be a meat shield? You gulp, looking around for options. Aha. Running over and ignoring your vertigo, you grasp a rock and take aim. Actively antagonizing these tricky situations has helped you in the past. And while your overhand could be better, you still hit the metal skull with a satisfying clank. Hey, over here, loser! The overgrown quarterback stills, save for its dented head, as its eyes cast a roving beam of light over you the same way they had scanned for Porrim. There are a few moments of still quiet between the three of you. The next words it suddenly bleats out sound louder. Alert! Threat detected! It stands rigid and straight as it turns towards you. Optics pierce through your core in an unnerving juxtaposition to the patiently parental way that it had tried to coax Porrim. Oh, the whiplash was unexpected. Porrim looks puzzled and meets your own befuddled expression as you back up. That rock didn't scrape off enough paint to piss it off, did it? Criminal detected! Wanted on charges of interplanetary terrorism and alleged grub napping of the heiress of Befriendus. Oh. Wait, you didn't kidnap Mina? You just sort of looked like you did. With a bomb in tow. The drone looks like it's taking up in new information before coming to a conclusion. Suspect has used lethal force. Suspect spotted in unauthorized custody of missing cavern dweller. Suspect contains a previous record of sticky point stumps through abduction of royal blood. You did what? Well, you certainly have a resume to explain. But hey, maybe that's okay. Maybe you could just be hauled off to wherever shady authority and explain. But hey, no. They've got it all wrong. Mina was the one holding the bomb. Now distributing punishment for repeated offenses and active threats against the Empire. Instant euthanization. Jesus Christ. Ah, okay, fair. You might have fucked up a lot. and this isn't going to be pretty. You hear Porrim gasp, but before the words can be exchanged, you are suddenly launched into something co-equal to QuickTime event. You yelp as you find yourself dodging the drone's large hand. Once you're not being grabbed at, it splinters and punched-in tree bark bursts like confetti next to your fallen form. Clambering up quickly, you sprint around it, but the drone is quicker this time. It keeps its weird-ass robot sensor on you and stalks forward as you keep trying to clumsily distance yourself. While you weren't expecting that thing to start fucking attacking you, it seems hellbent on physical retaliation. You're not on Eternian anymore, and that mutilated tree could look worse, you guess. Cool, great. Nothing about this emergency protocol is overkill. A giant boulder is suddenly being hurled at your head. You holler as it craters the ground below, kicking up dust and dirt as you trip over yourself in the commotion, this time slower to get up as you cough and sputter. Fuck your head, it hurts. Where's Porrim? You got some wood chips chucked up into your throat. Boom. Your thoughts still as twin steps land in the ground in front of you, daring you to look up. The drone peers over you like a horror monster, and you feel a sense of deja vu, save for the fact that you might actually die now. With a ragged gasp, you force yourself up as quickly as possible, but you only make it to your knees. By that time, the thing's arms have raised above its head like a foreboding mallet, and it swings. Your eyes are closed, and you take a minute or two before opening them again. The clouds of debris floating in the air alert you that you're not in the clouds above. Everything hurts, and you remember hearing a crack as you silently peer up. You're some yards away from the drone, which slowly starts to appear in the mirage of chaos it's caused. Your ribs and skull don't seem to feel crushed, nor do you feel a particular suffering of blunt trauma. The drone remains crouched over until enough of the dust clears, looking around for a target it clearly missed. Its intended target is you, and the soldier's silhouette rises among the plumes as it slowly regains posture upon spotting your frozen form. That's not what scares you, though. What drains the blood from your face and your wide eyes travel down to the drone's feet. It's the silhouette that pushed you out of the way. Her crumbled figure doesn't seem like it's moving, breathing. From your distance, every bone in your body locks up. Porrim? Oh no. The drone approaches as your disturbed stare tears away from the fallen girl. Your mouth is dry, face drained as you can only think of how awfully you failed this time, backing up slowly towards the trees. You didn't even scratch the surface of Porrim's life. Haven't heard half of the thoughts that she pleaded your attention for in a single conversation. At most, her ideas of change are now only carried within a legacy. A legacy that you would be disruptively silenced from passing forward. The drone finally corners you again, metal arms raised for a few heartbeats before swinging down a final time. You conclude that this was an avoidable fate. Well, fool me once. Well, huh? You're not dead? Holy shit. Ah! With the hefty elegance, Porrim shoves the drone back. The overwhelming strength of hulking metal is suddenly dwarfed by the fiery jades, which has the robot almost tip off balance. It beeps as if itself were surprised at the sudden plot twist, before its scanners swipe over the new incarnation of your friend, and you look too, gawking. She's glowing, as in, like a fluorescent bulb. Not to mention she's alive. The drone identifies Porrim again, as if it hadn't just smashed her like a roach. And what the hell, how did she survive that? And it reaches out with a metallic palm. Instead of fumbling, Porrim actually steps forward, grabbing the robotic arm and yanking. She seems really tired of its proddy limbs, tired and surprised at her own strength, but determined to not lose focus. Porrim drops the arm, sparks flying out of the robot and oil staining the ground before she steps up her game. Holy shit. The lipstick she had earlier is suddenly in her hand once more, and this time she's able to give it less fidgety attention as she twists. Is that a... You can tell the girls back home that my well-being is none of theirs to bear. It's mine, you shitty toaster. You're thinking of various ways to butter up her performance as Porrim slices through a metal-like foil with angry chainsaw. The drone sputters, spewing sparks and smoke from the jagged, diagonal cut, dragged from its torso up to its head. Save for Porrim's shoes landing on the inky ground, there's a moment of silence that is long and deafening before the robot finally falls over with a creak, shaking the ground as it lands. You clamber up quickly but carefully with your fragile form to give it a few nudges with your foot. You give it another. Seeing how it doesn't move, you give it a sturdy kick of revenge and whoop out in celebration. Holy shit, you just did that. More importantly, Porrim isn't dead, and you aren't about to blubber like a snotty baby anymore. What a satisfying little conclusion to this change of events. Hey Porrim, that was a really cool... What is this? Am I glowing? The optimism in your relief deflates. Something is wrong. Porrim is quick to rush over to her bag, pulling out a hand mirror and observing herself. She gasps in a way that tells you that this little light show isn't on purpose. No. I thought those were just old mythos. She stares off for a second, looking unsure about how she's supposed to feel. You attempt to chip in that, hey, she's alive, so that's good. You thought she'd been squished under that bucket of bolts. That's the problem. I was squished. My neck still hurts. I'm standing right here, though, yet I'm not alive. I'm this. Rainbow drinkers, they're real? Wait, so like a zombie? She gives you an incredulous look. I don't know what that is, but no. Sound ridiculous. That automated asshole killed me, and I came back as this. The signs are all there, the glow, the way I was able to flick the drone away from you, the thirst for blood I yet to feel. What the hell? Oh, so she's like a vampire. Okay, well, alright. You can get why she'd still be stunned. Knowing you died and then came back kind of undead seems like a bit of a culture shock. You're still staring yourself. But hey, she's here, which means she can keep striving toward her goal about the whole rebellion thing. Porrim turns, shoulders shaking as she snaps at you in exasperation. You don't get it! I can't just do everything like I planned now. I was gonna make plans with people, but it'd be in secrecy, but this thing wasn't part of it. How the hell do I turn this glowing off? You're paused, and Porrim catches your confusion before she breathes out, trying to stay calm. Rainbow drinkers are kind of urban legend. They're said to live off the blood of others, and to harbor strength leagues ahead of a normal jade. They're seen as monsters, and while I know who I truly am, others won't. Do you know how hard it will be to gain alliance with someone who would be quicker to run away? Let alone the fact that, like, what if I have to start doing the blood thing? She swallows. Not to mention that if they caught me, they might not ever even send me back to the caverns. This is strange and freaky. I'm a freak to them. Something they can't understand. Hell, I don't understand. And if they don't decide to poke and prod at me at the institutions, then I wouldn't put it past them to treat me like a grub being put out of my misery. I can see the headlines now. Escapee Jade with drinker serum coating destroys property and tax trolls in crazed frenzy. A crazed Jade up for euthanization. The perfect cover-up. I could be exaggerating, but I don't think I am. Those CIPs would pull out any excuse to keep their stay at Hive Jewels in check. You're trying to figure out what words to say, but you can't. You don't get this world, and you're only starting to figure out that it isn't all that it seems. Even if it isn't the literal cutthroat harshness of Alternia. Porrim could be assuming the worst, but maybe she isn't. What do you know anyway? She just died. How do you provide all-knowing comfort for something like that? I don't even know how these drones work. That thing could have been recording me the whole time, live. I might be on their radar now. They could be sending more. Which means I can't stay here. The crestfallen look to her returns as she glances at the ground. I have to go now. Wait, no, this wasn't how this was supposed to end. Porrim is already packing her things completely now. And you once more fumble. You're starting to realize that this is your fault too. She had everything down pat, and you just had to fuck it up for the both of you. Wait, you tell her. She shouldn't have to go through this alone. Does she have another plan ready? You could help. You're sorry. She gives a moment of pause, squeezing the strap of her bag before she looks back with a tight smile. Don't apologize. Maybe this was merely a sign that my stupid need to coddle finally got the best of me. Not that I was going to leave you to die, but I should have stuck to the essentials and let you on your way without the fluff. I suppose I can use the experience to do better in the future if things don't get cut short with my plans. But between the two of us, having to deal with the liability is work. She gives you a look. So, I'd prefer to get taken down myself than risking the both of us. Thank you for at least humoring my previous plans. And stay here until sun lowers, please. You've been a good friend. Goodbye. You feel ill. With that, she turns. You want to follow her into the burning sun that casts reflection on her light and form, but you're still not doing so hot, and you don't want to become hotter under the scorch. That leaves you here by this lonely cave. The cloud of debris faded. Hopefully Porrim will at least keep contact with others on her phone still, but damn it, it shouldn't have to be this complex. It shouldn't have happened. You should have just waited a bit longer before overestimating yourself again. You didn't, though. And the hope that it distance itself in Porrim's eyes make your heart ache. Your stupidity has just destroyed this girl's plans for a smoother revolt. The word friend echoes through your head. You feel like this should be a victory, but your optimism is suffocated in guilt. The claim of such a title feels cheap and unearned. Last you checked, friends don't ruin each other's lives. Shit. Damn. That was really good. That death end? That fucking threw me. That threw all of us, I think. We were sure she was dead. That came out of nowhere. That was fucking crazy. Alright, well, we've got 2 journal entries to read, so give me a minute. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the achievement didn't pop up during that. Yes. Yes, it was. Completely threw me off. One sec, let me check these credits again. Oh, fuck me. Yo, isn't that fucking... Hold on. I know that name. Yeah, Homestuck Tech Support. Yeah. Yeah, we're mutuals. On Twitter. That's some good shit. That's who wrote Porrim. That was good. We had some good art. Nafsta, I love the reader. It's good. They're good. Oh, Nafsta, you did the Porrim route end cards. Very cool. They're very adorable. All right. Time for some reading. Who's ready for a history lesson? On the 16th, it seems that the Basilisk also chooses to remain silent on the matter of the obscured. If it weren't for the strength of my powers, I dare say she might have challenged me. Usually blue bloods require a more impressionable target than a steel-minded teal, but I'm something of a special case. I met her in the workshop as soon as the sun went down. I'd been itching to pick her think pan all day long. The clock truly can be torturous sometimes, but such is the life of a woman sentenced to isolation in a dusty old book hive. Thanks, darling. And if you do happen to be reading this, kindly remove your cartilage nub from my private affairs. When I'd first heard of the basilisk, I will freely admit that I didn't expect much from her. Teals are abundant in the world of law, and she's no different. What I wasn't expecting was all the stuffed animals. Fucking Terezi. It was as if I'd stepped into a factory, with roads of fluff and a chorus of stuffed dragons staring holes straight into my skin as I marched right to her desk. She attempted to act as if her blindness would at all prevent her from being painfully aware of my entry. I didn't play along. Excruciatingly, my efforts to secure an interrogation warrant over day were all for naught. She didn't see the warrant I may or may not have brought. I am in fucking hell. Thankfully, despite her best efforts, her mental tiptoeing was no match for my unrivaled telepathy. When I uttered the obscured titles, I'd found my foothold. Every answer I could want was right inside her mind, and she was an open book for me. She remained silent, either ignoring me or being painfully aware I had full access to the tomes of her mind. This is like, Befriendus is real, and it's still real, even in the fucking alternate past. I, of course, prodded her more, asking about his name, the true hue of his blood, his whereabouts. In order to determine a falsehood definitively, one must be aware of its truthful equivalent. To know the sky isn't green, you must first know that it's purple. And to know the wild honk beast I'm chasing hasn't bitten the dust yet, you may know he's very alive and well, exceedingly so, in fact, wild goose chase. It's no essay, but I could easily glean that he's some sort of speaker. Public speaker, in fact. Debate clubs, school lectures, middle of the fucking street if he has to. What he talks about is beyond me in the most literal sense. Calls for violence, for anger, for being downright barbaric. How he's evaded culling thus far astounds me. Carcat Vantis has gone by a few titles over the sweeps, apparently. The Nameless, the Shepherd, the Hardcore, Boss Lord Rage Spit. How childish. Far more than his pitiful lifespan should allow. That, or the vast array of communities he visits, are unable to collectively agree on a suitable nickname for him. Reputation has its low points, I suppose. Unfortunately, it's hard to get a good look at the guy through a blind woman's eyes. Talk about an unlucky break. Under the thin veil of boredom, I thank her for her time and bid her adieu. I have confirmation he's alive. Who knows where he's alive, but he is. Not even she's privy to his whereabouts, either for his own protection or because of an insufferable inability to keep still. She's undecided. She's well aware of every little nugget of delectable, juicy information she's provided me. It's written all over her face. Precious. Unfortunately, this likely means she'll be warning him about my intention to find him. She hadn't considered it as far as I'm aware, but she's no fool. It will dawn on her, come morning light. Finding this petulant wiggler may have come significantly more tiresome. Time is of the essence. The most essence, even. Tick-tock, I suppose. End of entry. Alright. And 4. I love these little journal entries. It's very cool. Because I think we established this during the first volumes, which was a while ago, so I might be wrong. But I'm pretty sure this has never been touched upon. Like, ancient versions of R12, the original 12 Trolls, and their lore. I think this is all just, like, new. This is completely, like, fucking non-canon shit, but this shit, it feels real. I paid a visit to the militant Caligula's detainment complex tonight. It's hard for someone to get in touch with him, given his strict work schedule, but it's not as if he's at all immune to my charm. Far from it, in fact, he's remarkably and pathetically susceptible. He hungers for companionship like most need food or air. Throw a bit of bait out and you'll have him a hook, line, and sinker. Ugh, she's got me making fish puns now. Looking back, I've made a few aquatic references in my conversation with Caligula. I sincerely hope he thought nothing of it. Normally, he will take a polite, gritted fangs greeting at your invitation to slide over and reach an arm around your shoulder. He's insufferable, and damn infamous for it. So who's Caligula? Is this Eridan? But, and this is a big but, it means he's easy to make an asset out of. There's a rich man who will jump for chump change. It's not as if it's hard to guess how to appeal to him. He's in charge of Her Highness's protection facility for warm hues. He's in charge of lowbloods deemed too dangerous to care for themselves. That's a recipe for one hell of a superiority complex if I've ever heard of it. Total control freak, that one. I've seen it with my own 8 eyes. The second I walked into his complex, I was met with one of the most agonizing telepathic courses I've ever heard. It's as if I'd become a prophet of doom for a night. My digestion sac may have churned if it was anything less than a professional. Caligula's aquarium. Oh, you're right. I'd have expected defiant lowbloods to harden themselves when coddled so excessively, put up a barrier to protect their dignity. These trolls, however, broken. I could read their lives clear as the searing sun. Every underhanded tactic to the man's performed on them, every ignored detainment law, every shattered dream of escape. The man's thorough. Of course, Her Highness doesn't know a thing about this. As far as she's aware, it's all moonshine and rainbows in here. I wonder what she'll do if she found out about the conditions within these walls. I'm finding myself sidetracked. Perhaps Caligula is simply so uncharismatic I'd rather discuss his torture chamber than him. Unfortunately, I'm not as privy to his thoughts as I am to the numerous trolls protected here on account of his sea-dwelling blood. Even if I were, I wouldn't be able to hear hide nor hair with the racket around here. So equally unfortunately, his words will have to do. I asked him about the obscured the minute he invited me in. The sooner the conversation ended, the better, I thought. He had no clue who I was talking about, which was not great to say the least. A short conversation, sure, but he's the one contact I have who wouldn't bite me in the ass down the line about this. Any other sensible adult would have shown me the door to avoid legal shitstorm that even talking about him would bring. It's why I had to ask someone who gave no fucks about the danger of saying a person's name. It's a good thing he's got some contacts of his own, or tonight would have been the biggest waste of time spent on the biggest waste of hope. Getting an audience with the high grand blood myself would have been laughable, but hello, Finface claims he owes him a favor. See? Asset. Of course, I've yet to see if he can live up to his grandiose claims, or if he's simply attempting to seem impressive in hopes of paling session. Time will tell, and if not, we'll see if his severed head will make any more boastful claims. Dear, if you're reading this, I apologize profusely for my last sentiment. I know you sorely struggle with such graphic imagery. However, stop reading my journal. Kisses. I have 2 nights to travel to the High Chucklebuck Church for his audience. A trivial matter, assuming I can borrow one of Dearest's shuttlefish pods, which I definitely will. Crap. I'm going to have to think of some jokes, aren't I? End of entry. Alright. And there you have it. We are now caught up on Befriendus. I'm hoping for more content soon, but no rush. But, no rush, Befriendus team, but this shit, I like... Listen, I don't want to say this. Befriendus, I actually like it more than Pester Quest. Just saying. Just saying. Obviously, Friendship was the template. Friendship was fucking great. This is good. This is like... I like this more than Pester Quest. Just going on a line. I like this maybe more than Homestuck. It's just good. It's good shit. It's good shit that they were able to come together and make something like this. A bunch of people. And it's extremely high quality. Ryan is immediately shot dead. Listen, I'm allowed to have my opinions. I like Befriendus. It's good. Thank you for watching, everyone. I am going to go ahead and get some rest. What is that emote? That looks familiar. What is that? Oh, it's a man bowing. I see. I am gonna go get some rest. It's 2:35. Oh, wait. I before I go get some rest, I want to compile that, or at least try to compile some of that Friend Sim collab we did. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Maybe we'll play a video game on stream. What? No. Couldn't possibly be. I gotta think of a video game to play, though. I don't have a lot of good. I've been playing Assassin's Creed. I've been replaying Assassin's Creed 2, which is from like 2008. It's old as hell, but I'm really enjoying it. I haven't played it in like fucking 7 years, probably. It's been a while. Bug snacks. Yeah, that's a good point. Bug snacks. Yeah, I gotta think of a game to play. I wasn't too enthralled by Travis Strikes Again, to be honest. So we might not actually finish that. I don't know. I haven't decided, but I gotta look into some more games, more story-driven games. Maybe Metal Gear. I have Metal Gear Solid 5, which, if you don't know, is considered the worst of the Metal Gear games. But I still want to stream it because I've streamed every Metal Gear game basically except for that one. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna head out now. Have a good day.